"Mother, I have some news." She sniffed. "I have some news myself." He swallowed, opened his mouth fully ready to declare his intentions. Yet all that came out was, "By all means, you go first." That was the coward in him, choosing to put off the skewering for another few seconds if he could. No, get your news over with." It was the some amount of enthusiasm she had ever shown for his personal interests. He pushed aside his disappointment. "I've met someone," he said quickly. "I know that complicates things because obviously I'm betrothed to Amelia. And Fiona, well, she's unique in a way that will no doubt infuriate you. But makes me so happy, Mother. Happier than I think I've ever been. I want to marry her." There, the words were said. It was like a ton had been lifted from his shoulders. Whatever the consequences, the hard part was done. So he waited. Waited for his mother to rage, or find some way to cut him. Instead, she regarded him for a long moment before shrugging. Just a little. That indifferent movement hurt more than anger or expletives ever could have. "The Lady Dunbarton died last night." Graham's wife? Curse it. What happened? His cousin had been married less than a month. The last time Edward had seen the Viscountess, she was blushing prettily on the way out of the church. "A fish out of water dies gasping. You should remember that." His heart dropped, and a pit of nausea formed in his stomach. His cousin had gone against social expectations. Despite immense amounts of backlash from his family, he had married a young woman who manned the counter of her father's bookstore. Edward's mother had turned crimson when she'd found out. They'd needed to replace a rug, 2 vases, and the wallpaper in the green, now yellow room. Edward had tried to talk sense into his cousin at the time. Graham had been resolute. To hell with society. He was in love, and that was all there was to it. Now that Edward had found Fiona, that conversation left a bitter taste. "What precisely are you saying?" Edward asked. "The girl took her own life. Here, Dunbarton sent a letter." She tossed a parchment onto his desk, the seal broken. "I don't understand." He'd had little chance to become acquainted with Eliza, but from their brief conversation she'd seemed perfectly happy. "Have you not been getting the papers in the country?" He had been getting the Times. He'd just been too preoccupied with Fiona to bother reading it. The upstart got what she had coming. What could she expect? That she would marry a viscount and be welcomed to society with open arms? I must say, the papers did their best to shred her to pieces, but they had nothing on the young ladies. A delirium of débutantes scorned, and all that. His mother chuckled. A young woman had just lost her life. His cousin, his mother's nephew, had just lost the woman he loved. And she laughed. "Of course, you'll need to do something about the gossip. Call your man at the paper. Have it put out that she came down with a fever or something of that manner. Death by one's own hand is unseemly. We can't have that getting out." He would handle it. That's what he did. But first he needed to get it straight in his head. "Are you telling me that the men and women of our acquaintance were so cruel to this girl that she chose to—" He couldn't bring himself to finish the thought. "A fish out of water dies gasping. Now tell me more about this Fiona." His heart stopped. A sudden cold chilled him. The look in his mother's eyes was deadly. He should never have said Fiona's name. He should never have breathed a word of her to this woman. "There's nothing to tell," he said. "Good, because I would hate to think that you'd forgotten what mattered. The Wildeforde name, above all else, above one's wants, above oneself. I haven't